Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with spicy shrimp and jalapeno nachos. That's right, Cinco de Mayo is coming up. I believe it falls on May 5th this year. And what better way to fiesta than with this beautiful plate of alternative nachos? I mean, I love the traditional super greasy, heavy, fake meat, fake cheese sauce style, but I think this would make a beautiful and very delicious change of pace to the traditional version. So let me show you how to do these. We're going to start by cooking a little shrimp, and yes, that's always redundant. So I have 1 pound of Gulf shrimp that were thawed and drained thoroughly. I'm going to go ahead and drizzle in a little bit of oil, and then we're going to season these up with a pinch of cayenne, some chipotle, a little touch of black pepper, and a big pinch of salt. And we're going to take a spatula and we're going to mix that up thoroughly. So glad I wore a shirt today. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a nonstick pan on high heat, and once it's hot, we're going to go ahead and throw in our shrimp. And we don't need any additional fat because we coated those in a little bit of oil. So just dump those in. And this is going to be a very fast and inelegant operation. So as soon as you dump them in, try to get them in a single layer. And as soon as that happens, you can go ahead and start turning them. Although they're so small and cook so quickly, you may not have time to turn them all. So you can always give the pan a few shakes, just kind of toss them around like that, and then just turn the ones that haven't turned. All right, these are literally only going like a minute per side. We just want them barely cooked through. And as soon as yours are barely cooked through, go ahead and dump those on a plate and just let them cool down while we prep our chips. So our shrimp are cooked and cooling. We're going to go over to a sheet pan that I've lined with a little bit of lightly oiled foil. I'm going to go ahead and lay down my tortilla chips. I'm using the nice big ones. I believe they call those restaurant style for some reason, as if us home cooks couldn't handle large chips. It's a little insulting. But anyway, we're going to use the large restaurant style chips. Of course, I've handpicked the best ones. And once I've laid those out, we're going to go ahead and place one now cool enough to handle shrimp in the center of each chip, okay? And then once those chips are shrimped, we're going to go ahead and put on 1 thin slice of jalapeno. And as you can see, I knocked the seeds out. I don't want the seeds in here. And you can see I slice those nice and thin. Jalapeno is not a super spicy pepper anyway, but even so, you don't want a really thick piece. And once the pepper's placed over, we're going to go ahead and cheese these. And the method I'm going to use here is to put 1 big pinch on the top of each one. Now, if you want, you can push all the chips together, put more on the pan, and then just sprinkle the cheese over everything. But the problem is when the cheese melts, instead of having individual nachos, you have 1 giant nacho that you have to kind of pull apart. So even though this method takes an extra minute, I like to do them individually. And as far as the type of cheese, I'm going to use a pepper jack. It's a nice, creamy, mellow, melty cheese. But of course, you can use anything you want. You are the boss of your cheese choices. And then once they're all covered with cheese, we're going to go ahead and melt the cheese over the top. Now you can do this a couple ways. You can just put them in a hot oven, like 400 degrees for about 5 minutes until the cheese is nicely melted. But I'm actually going to use the broiler, which is much, much faster. You're going to get a little more caramelization. The only danger is you got to really watch them close. They can burn quickly. In fact, why am I still holding this camera? Those are done. Whew. Okay, I got them out just in time. You can see how gorgeous those are, and they're not even dressed yet. So at this point, depending on how many margaritas and or cervezas you've had, you may just start eating them off the tray like this, which is tempting and delicious. I ate one. But try not to eat them off the tray, because what we're going to do is put these on a plate and make them mucho más awesome. And the first step to that is a little bit of avocado crema. That's just half avocado and half sour cream blended. I drizzled that over. Of course, you could just use diced avocado and sour cream, same difference. And then I'm going to finish this off with just some freshly sliced cherry tomatoes and a whole bunch of freshly chopped cilantro. And those spicy shrimp and jalapeno nachos are done. So simple, so beautiful, and incredibly tasty. The sweet, juicy shrimp with that spicy pepper, the melty cheese, the crunchy chip, and our lovely, colorful, and tasty toppings. These are just so good and addictive. I could have eaten 20 of these. And by could have, I mean I ate 20 of these. Oh, and then one last tip. If you happen to score the last nacho on the tray or plate, don't eat it right away. Walk around the room, pointing to it, saying, "This is mine, nachos." All right, trust me, it'll be hilarious and not at all annoying. Okay? So I really do hope you give these a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.